Will the Bengals take down the Chiefs, surprise everyone, and get to 1-1 on the season? Let's get into what I'll be watching for on Sunday at Arrowhead, plus a prediction for Sunday's matchup. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. That's a Sports Illustrated site. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Check out all of our videos this week. We've been stacked, packed, loaded with content for you. We had a video on the national media narrative. That was our most recent video. Make sure you check that one out. Make sure that you check out Enter the Jungle that aired on Tuesday. Jamar Chase had plenty to say. Joe Burrow had plenty to say. And let's dive in because it's been a unique week. This video today brought to you by BetUS. It's been a unique week. And it has because this is a marquee matchup, Bengals Chiefs. And it doesn't really feel like it, does it? It's Sunday, 425. CBS has the number one broadcast team on the game, and it's huge. But it doesn't feel huge. And it doesn't feel huge because what happened last week? And the Bengals lose to the Patriots. And so what happened last week? They lose to the Patriots. They come back and yeah, they did talk a little trash, but I think it's just how they honestly felt. Cam Taylor-Britt saying, get hands on Xavier Worthy. He's got straight line speed. You can't let him run. Or Jamar Chase saying that they're the team to beat in the AFC. And yet, even with comments like that, it doesn't feel like there's the normal buzz. And it's because of how they played last week. And I respect Cam and Jamar sharing those feelings, being that confident, and they should be that confident because there's a very real possibility that the Bengals do go to Arrowhead and win. We've seen them do that. We've seen them beat the Chiefs 3 out of 4 times with Joe Burrow starting. Last year, with Jake Browning starting, it was a game. It was a competitive game. It wasn't like the Bengals were outclassed or outmatched. And they came up short, but it was a game that was close. And so let's start with what I would be watching for in this one. And it starts with Joe Burrow. You need Joe Burrow to look like Joe Burrow. And there's been so much talk about his wrist and about his health and about his willingness or how he's seeing the field, his willingness to throw the deep ball, all of those things. All right. Well, now go answer him. We know the Bengals need more explosive plays. We know the Bengals need to push the ball downfield. By the way, I'm not just watching for deep passes, intermediate passes, passes over the middle of the field, catch and run opportunities for Jamar Chase, catch and run opportunities for these tight ends. Tanner Hudson is doubtful, so I would expect that you're going to see Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample, and Eric All as the top 3 tight ends. Maybe Eric All gets in the mix from a passing game perspective, brought value as a blocker last week. Who knows? Maybe they, and I was joking with Paul Dehner Jr. about this earlier this week, but it makes a lot of sense. You put Eric All, Drew Sample out there, first play of the game, little play action. Everyone thinks it's going to be a run, play action pass to Eric All could work. And who knows? We may see it. But I'll be watching how Joe Burrow plays, performs. He always rises to the challenge, rises to the occasion against a guy like Patrick Mahomes and plays well. I'm expecting him to play well again on Sunday. Number 2 is pretty simple. Zach Taylor, this coaching staff, and their ability to produce, to scheme up explosive plays. I don't care how it's done. I don't care if it's Joe Burrow saying Jamar's down there somewhere and you find him. I don't care if it's a screen pass that goes for 50 yards. It doesn't matter. You need to find a way to generate explosive plays, to take pressure off of your offense, to put pressure on the Chiefs, to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And so however you generate explosive plays, you got to do it. Maybe it's the tight ends that I mentioned. Maybe it's Jermaine Burton and Jamar Chase with big praise of Jermaine Burton. And I love it. I love that he did that. And hopefully it's because Jermaine Burton is earning trust in that locker room. So those are the offensive keys. Of course, you got to, in what I'll be watching for, of course, you have to contain Chris Jones. Of course, Trent Brown has to play better. Of course, Alex Kapp has to play better. And that's where I think Chris Jones is going to be lined up a lot, is on that right side. And it's up for those guys to play at a much higher level. Kappa and Brown, and honestly, the entire unit. If you can give Burrow time, I expect Burrow to be much, much better than he was last week because with the track record is long enough. All right, let's get to the defense here. First things first, you got to tackle. You got to tackle. Lou Anarumo talking this week, they tracked 14 missed tackles, the most that he's dealt with since he's been here. It's just been awful. Awful, 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 or it was awful last week. It can't be awful on Sunday if they want a chance to have a chance. Because if you're not tackling, then that means Isaiah Pacheco has ran for 100 plus yards. That Patrick Mahomes doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes necessarily to beat you or to score points. And that's a really tough position to be in. You need to be able to tackle. You need to be able to get a hat on a hat. And the tough part about the Chiefs in the trenches is the interior of their offensive line. Creed Humphrey, arguably the best center in the league. Joe Tooney, one of the best guards in the league. Trey Smith, one of the best guards in the league. That interior is tough. They're going to be tested. Or the Bengals interior is going to be tested. Chris Jenkins not going to play. And so the BJ Hills of the world are going to have to step up and play at a much higher level than they did last week to have a shot. And by the way, I don't think they were bad last week. It's just the level that of opponent you're playing is much, much better. By the way, BJ Hill played 51 snaps last week. That's just so many snaps. Hopefully Chris Jenkins can be back for Monday Night Football. One quick note, Amarius Mims is also doubtful. He's not going to play. And they're taking it one more week. I think they're going to get him into team drills next week, and then he'll be good to go for Monday Night Football. But hopefully Trent Brown rebounds. And then number 4, and they've done a really good job of this. Sam Hubbard, notoriously really good against the Chiefs, helping contain Mahomes. You want to contain Mahomes. You want to keep him in the pocket. You want him to be a little uncomfortable. And the way to do that isn't necessarily blitzing him. It's containing him. So if you can contain Mahomes, make sure that the speedsters aren't running free. And that's what Xavier Worthy did last week. I think that's why Cam Taylor-Britt said what he said. Because Xavier Worthy, one of his touchdowns, no one guarded him. No one. So he's like, yeah, well, you got to get hands on him. You got to be able to run with him. And the best way to do that is to get hands on him. And obviously the jet sweep is another play he scored on. I don't think he was trying to slight him. Another thing I'll be watching for, how they guard Travis Kelce, who they put on him. There'll be some linebackers at times. Will Dax Hill be the guy? Maybe you move Dax Hill to Kelce at times, and then you have DJ Turner come onto the field. I think that dynamic is going to be interesting as well. But this defense has a tall task ahead of it. This entire team has a tall task ahead of themselves. We are going to get to my prediction for Sunday's game coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS. BetUS is where you need to go right now to get in on all the action. And if you look at their latest odds, Jamar Chase, the over-under, 70.5 receiving yards. I would hammer the over. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a big game. His over-under is in the low 200s. I'd hammer the over on that as well. Zach Moss, 49.5. Easy to see a path for Zach Moss to getting 12 carries instead of 9 and getting that number. And so you got to get in on the action with BetUS today. And right now, BetUS is offering a huge bonus right now just because you're watching Cincinnati Bengals talk. You'll get a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. So use code YouTube150 and you're going to get a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Check out BetUS today. Use code YouTube150 and get in the game with BetUS. All right, let's dive into my prediction. The Bengals always play the Chiefs tough, and this is no different. They are going to go to Arrowhead and play much, much better this week. They're going to play so much better that if they played as well as they will on Sunday against the Chiefs, against the Patriots, they would have beaten the Patriots by 14 or by 21. They would have rolled them. And yet, I still don't think it's going to be enough. This is such a good Chiefs team, and you can give them a run for their money and play really, really well, and it still not be enough. And I just keep coming back to Chris Jones, the interior of that Chiefs offensive line, their ability to run the ball, the Bengals still working through some things, trying to find their identity on offense. I do think that whether it's Jermaine Burton or Eric All, or it could be Mike Gesicki, Charlie Jones, Andre Yosavash, I think some of these guys are going to come up big on offense, not named Jamar Chase, even though I do think Jamar's going to have a big game. And I think they come up just a tad short. I do. It's going to be close. If I had to give you a score prediction, I'd say 26-23. So with the BetUS spread, guess what? I would take the points, however you want to say it, but I would take the points. But yeah, the Chiefs aren't going to cover. But I do think that the Chiefs ultimately win the game and the Bengals start 0-2 for a third straight season. It doesn't mean they won't win. I said it at the top. I think they have a real shot at winning this game. I think they're going to play much better. I think it is a tough matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs. But one team escaped with a win last week against the Ravens. The other team laid an egg. I think both teams will play better, and the Chiefs will squeak out a victory at Arrowhead. We are going to be there. We are going to be covering it. So please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notified when we post any videos. And we're going to have instant reaction to the game and plenty of thoughts as well on this one. So please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. And for more, check out bengalstalk.com. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.